Last episode, I was joking about kids these days. They reach certain age, and then basically they think their parents are complete idiots. They become idiots, right? Maybe when they're young, they listen to you a lot. When they're like maybe 5 years old, you're like their heroes. But after that, they just think you're an idiot, and it doesn't matter where you lived. If it doesn't matter that you're like 45 years old, live in 6 different countries, paid bills, train martial arts for 30 years, and start over every time they move to a different country, make friends again and whatnot. To them, and not just this generation, but let's say to them, the wisdom come from YouTube or something like that, and TikTok. I mean, I can realize maybe when I was younger, I remember it comes a point of time that you think your parents are like old fashioned, but there was something that you still think that they're your parents. They might know something that you don't, or at least me. Maybe just me. And somewhere I read that now we live in a time that we confuse confidence with competence. I think I saw that in a YouTube video somewhere. Like loud opinions be actual life experience or facts. So then I come to the point that's why I call this episode like no medals for losers, because back in my days, if you go for a competition, it doesn't matter how old you were or which competition it was, you don't get any medal or you didn't get anything just because you participated. No, the prizes were just for the winners, or maybe some special commendations for the top 10, let's say, or the top 5, but just getting like a congratulation because you are the 700 participant on a marathon. There's nothing. There was nothing back then, but now it's a thing. Like you get like a t-shirt because you competed on it, and it says, because you didn't win, it says finisher. And that's like a nice pat on the back for finishing that. Don't get me wrong, I think people should do hard stuff. You should struggle with things because some things are not easy. Uh, and a lot of times you will lose, and that's okay by losing. You don't need to win all the time. Nevertheless, it's the mindset, because we have to teach people. Let's say I want to teach my girls here at home that losing is not bad. Losing is not evil. Failing is part of life. You need to start somewhere. Sometimes, like I think in one of the alien movies, Covenant or Prometheus, it says that big things have small beginnings. That's very important. That's very important because you need effort in life to do things, and in order to win, you need to put a lot of effort. And sometimes you put a lot of effort and you still lose. And then you need to learn something about that experience where you lost. But that doesn't mean that you deserve to be, I don't know, you deserve a congratulation because you lose. You know what I mean? Is you see the kids go for let's say a school, you have a Halloween competition, the best dress. And then you see some of them put efforts to put some, and they don't win anything, and you can see them crying. I mean, you see it funny now. I remember I might feel sad back then. After many years, I learned it. But we don't want to give prizes for mediocrity. Anyway, my angle is not against beginners or being kind, but it's against um, fake merit. You know what I mean? So that brings me to something that I think it has a lot of effort, and we haven't seen them in years. Also, I think the message is a little bit confusing, and I think it has some, of course, political colors there. That is the Artemis 2 mission. I don't know if you have heard the news, watching YouTube. I think the 1st of April, we send 4 astronauts. Uh, first mission to the moon in I don't know how many years, I don't know, 50 years or whatever. But I think the last time that humans went to the actual moon, that they step on the moon, it was somewhere on the 70s. But how they market this mission is that Artemis 2 is going to the moon, and okay, fair enough, it's going around the moon, but the astronauts are not getting into the moon. They're not like going on the pod and land on the moon. So I think that's not nice. I think that's misleading because everywhere you see is like first mission of astronauts after 30, 40 something years to the moon. And it's not true because you're not going to the moon. You should be going around the moon. I mean, they have some missions, they have some testing, they need to test the spaceship. NASA needs to validate procedures and hardware and the shields and capability, and they wanted to take some pictures of the how do you call the dark side of the moon, thing like that. So it was a very, very impressive stuff. I mean, I do follow all these astronauts and um, space missions, like the ones from SpaceX with the Falcon and with the old with the Starship, but um, but not so many about NASA. So this one was pretty cool. I guess the name is still get me a little bit the itch because I think it's misleading, if you know what I mean. Anyway, the point here, what I mentioned, Artemis 2 mission, is to point in evidence that that's why we have winners and losers and the amount of effort it takes things. The reminder of how like if you are number one, you can achieve stuff. Even the guys who are there inside the spaceship, they have the resume somehow is impressive, and also NASA, in order to have done this, they have to go through the extent of testing and I guess losing. Sometimes they explode their rockets and whatnot, but it's basically they put a lot of effort to do something amazing, right? And you're not expecting medals if you just do mediocre stuff, you know. And then coming back to what actually this mission should be doing, taking pictures of the dark side of the moon and whatnot. I've been looking a lot of YouTube and also in TikTok, and I don't think so much in Instagram, but I'm trying to look for pictures and I look for videos about all the things that they have done inside. And to be honest, I don't find much. I don't know if I don't know how or where to look, but I was expecting more content. For example, some, I don't know, Mr. Beast or some random YouTuber do something that it doesn't even make too much sense from a human mankind perspective. And you can find their content all over the place and they become viral. Then I check for the Artemis 2 mission videos and pictures, and I just see the same over and over again, the same set of pictures and videos. So it makes me wonder, where is the rest? I mean, I'm not a one of those persons who has these conspiracy theories about it. Some people even mention the truth behind this Artemis 2 mission, and it's not just a scientific endeavor, but also it's a political thing. And I guess it makes sense, similar like back then with the Apollo missions and when they went to the moon, that it was the race to the moon, that it was the Americans competing against the Russians to see who go first to the moon. And again, it's who go first, not who go last, right? So the medal goes to the first, and that's why they have this very big mission to go to the moon. And at the end, the first one to put food on the moon was the Americans. The first one to send something to the space were the Russians with the Sputnik, I think. Then they sent the dog, Laika, poor dog, he dies. But then the Americans won number one. They went to the moon first. They went few times, but then there was no more war, no more competition who goes to the moon, and then for many years we left it behind. And now, because of all these wars, let's say no physical wars, but all this competition between West, United States, America, and Europe against East, that is China and Asia, and they see the news that China is trying to conquer the space as well. So I guess it goes from there as well. The competition, like to prove a point again that Americans have it and Chinese don't. But well, it's going. I mean, it's pretty cool. Whoever is going, I'm happy. I have the same idea as Elon Musk and other guys that we should start conquering space. Why we want to stay all the way here on Earth if there's other things to see? And on top, the financial value of mining in the moon or mining asteroids. I was reading that there's trillions of dollars of rare minerals on those ones. So whoever goes first there, it could be something. It could be something, you know what I mean? Then the second point that I want to mention regarding effort and how things work, for example, new generations and old generations, is like I could ask a lot of people, hey man, tell me what is better than a 2026 BMW M3. And some people will think, oh man, what is better than that? They will say, I don't know, a Lamborghini. They will mention some AMG Mercedes for sure, or a Porsche or whatnot. And for me, I would say, well, that's easy. Just give me a 1984 BMW 2002 Turbo, or just give me a 1986 E30 BMW M3. Those cars are great. For some reason, the things that we build now, they are not as durable as the things that we used to build before. From some point of view, they are also lacking character and soul and their mechanical aspects. Now it's more like a software on wheels than the actual mechanical stuff and and how you put everything to run smoother. You know what I mean? And I can say that because in my house we used to have a BMW 1986 BMW E30, a 316. Of course, it was not an M series, but it was a great car. It had a lot of personality. The engine was a small engine, 1.8 liters engine, but it was super reliable. That engine never failed. It was a M10 engine, I think, the designation of that engine, and it was great. It was great. And don't get me wrong, new cars are amazing, but the old cars have like, they had some identity. They were like the first ones on doing something. I think the 3 Series of BMW was like one of the first mass-produced cars who were like almost like a sports car. They had like a sports suspension, and you could feel like the closest thing to a racing car on the street, and people can afford to buy it. And also back then, like putting petrol in the car and contamination and efficiency was just a thing. Okay, fuck it. This black thing that come from Earth, I just use it. It will never end. And of course, with year, things start to become different, and I guess they have to uh, have different type of performance for these cars. But you have to respect those things. They were the first, and why they were so good, because in some reason they were number one. They were not the last ones to get there. I mean, yeah. And before closing this short episode, let's come back to the parenting part, because that's funny. That's something that I wish more older and young parents try to call the shit of their kids. And how? I mean, there's so many ways. I mean, you can be a funny parent. You can roast your kids when they're doing stupid stuff. It's I think that's part of parenting. Um, you have to let them know that what they see in uh, YouTube and TikTok and Instagram is not the reality all the time. They have to start learning to see the difference between uh, someone who is putting a lot of effort to build a channel and thinking that they can just do it by being uh, fifth place. You know what I mean? Because if you see these influencers right now, let's put Mr. Beast, this guy was basically the whole day making videos about, I mean, whatever you tell me you like Mr. Beast or not, but most of it, I think they're dumb. Some of them are entertaining, but this guy was putting effort the whole time because in his head, he wanted to be number one. He wanted to be the best YouTuber, whatever that means. And that's why he came where he is. But some other people think that it's just as easy as just make a video like me once every week and then suddenly you become the best. And then you complain about how hard your life is as a teenager, how you feel that your life has no meaning and you're just like 19 years old. And it becomes odd. It becomes that the parents are losing connection with their kids. And I'm not saying that I'm doing better because I've just become a father figure from recent years. So I need to figure out how to get close to the kids and guide them on the best way. But one of the best ways that I want to guide them is like, the world is not how do I say, um, we shouldn't get rewarded by being mediocre, but trying to achieve things, even if you fail, should give you a perspective in life and it should be encouraged. You should be encouraged to do a lot of things, even if you fail one, two, three, four, 10, 15 times. And of course, you have to learn from those times that you try to achieve something and try to get better little by little. And eventually, if you put a lot of effort in doing something that you really like and you're good at it, maybe you can get a first place and second place and then be one of the top in something. Hmm? Is that a good message? Okay, no, let's close this episode in a better way. So what I want people to understand, and I think people should teach to their friends or to their kids in early age, that we need to clearly explain that we need to attack the mediocrity, excuses, and fake achievement, and not to attack people who are trying hard to do something, even if they're still failing and learning. So that's the point. And then if you put a lot of effort, you could be number one. Yes.